Well, students, I'm excited about today. We are going to start making a coil pot. So the first thing that I would like you to do is to measure this. We want to split this in half. So sometimes it's good to just kind of measure it. For me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers here. And then you can see it's the same 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's the same on both sides. I'm going to cut this through, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to set this aside. And this one, I'm gonna split it into 3. Now, in order to split this into 3, I have to measure it with 2 lines. So for me, it's about 2 fingers, and then here, it would be about 2 fingers. And just kind of check, it looks like this one's a little bit bigger, so let's move this one over just a little bit. So I kind of marked it before I cut it. If they look like they're the same, I've got 1, 2, 3, they're all the same size. You can see it's like 2 fingers, 2 fingers, and 2 fingers. And then I'm gonna cut this one, and then I'm gonna cut this one. These I'm gonna set aside for right now. So I'm gonna move those off camera. If there's any extra clay that's still on your table, you can just pick it up, and we'll put that here. Now with this piece, you need to put a drop of water on this side, put a drop of water on this side. We're gonna push this together, kind of like I'm making a snowball. I'm packing the clay together, pushing it together. So I'm just taking my hands like this and I'm just pushing the clay together. Once I push the clay together, then I'm gonna roll it in my hands. So I'm just using a rolling motion like that, and that's smoothing the clay. Now after you roll it a little bit, check it and see if it has any bumps in it. So it looks like there's a little bump here, so I can just smooth it with a little bit of water. So if you notice any bumps are in the clay, please smooth them with your finger and a drop of water. This should not take very long to roll this into a ball. If you take too long to do this, the clay will dry out before you get a chance to make your pinch pot. So it's all smooth. I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna take my thumb, and I'm gonna mark the middle with my thumb. It's right in the center. I'm gonna take my thumb, I'm gonna go straight into the clay. I don't want to be crooked or off center. Go right into the middle of the clay. When I feel my thumb pushing right here on my other hand, I need to take my thumb out because I don't want to poke it all the way through. So that I can feel it, yep. Now it's right in the middle. Now I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm going to take my thumb, kind of like an L shape, and my thumb goes on the inside, my fingers on the outside. I just open my hand and then I close it. And the other hand turns it. So open, close, turn it. Open, close, turn it. And you just continue to open and close your hand. You can see my thumb stays down at the bottom. And I'm never pinching up at the top because we're gonna put another piece of clay on this part. So this needs to stay at least as wide as your finger. Once it's big enough, you can fit both your thumbs on the inside. Keep your thumbs on the bottom of your pot and just turn it. And this would be pretty good, because we can always make it bigger later on. If we make it too big right now, we can't make it smaller without starting over. So you can see this looks good. Once I'm done with that, you can see it's still about as wide as my finger all the way around. It's not pinched on the top. This is the beginning of my coil pot. So we're gonna move that, we'll set it next to the water here, and we're gonna take one of these pieces. And I'm gonna do the same thing, put water on both sides of it, take it, push the clay together, roll it in your hands. You can kind of push it together if needed before you roll it. So push it together, roll it. And the same thing, we don't want this to take too long, because if this takes too long to roll it up, the clay is gonna dry out. And if the clay is dry and hard, it's gonna be very hard to make these coils that are gonna go on your pot. So I rolled that up, added some water. Now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna roll it in my hand a little bit. So you can see I'm rolling it from this bottom part of my hand all the way to my fingertips. If you can roll it like this in your hands, you will be able to roll it on the table. I'm gonna move the water cup a second so that we can see how I'm gonna roll this out. So I'm gonna use my whole hand, I'm gonna roll this gently. I'm not pushing down on it, because if I push down on it, it's gonna make the clay get flat and then it won't roll anymore. So I'm gonna roll it with my whole hand. I'm gonna put this back out so we can see when it's as long as this, I'm gonna stop. So it's long enough now that I can use both hands. I'm gonna roll it out and I'm gonna be really gentle as I roll it. You can see now it is just a little longer than that popsicle stick. And I'm guessing that it's gonna be the right length for the top of my pot. Let's see. I'm gonna put water on here. That's gonna make my slip to stick it together. And let's check before I try to put it on here. It's really close. So if it's not quite long enough, let's just roll it just a little longer, and then let's check it again and see. Yep, now it's the right length. So in order to stick this clay together, I'm gonna put water on this, then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on the top of my pot. And then if there is a little bit of extra like this, you can take this and just trim that little part off. There shouldn't be a bunch that you have to cut off. And I'm gonna take a drop of water and I'm gonna smooth this together, being careful not to pinch that together. Now there's a couple of ways that you can get this to smooth onto your pot. You can put your fingers on the inside and you can just take your thumb and smooth it down and smooth some up with your fingers. If it doesn't seem to be smoothing like that, I will give you one of these sticks and you can roll this together. So you can just roll some from the top and some from the bottom, some from the top, some from the bottom. So if your finger is working fine to smooth it, great. If you need to roll it with this tool, that works too. So some things work better for others, that's why I'm giving you two choices. Now when this is all rolled together, don't put another coil on it yet. I would like you to smooth it with your finger. Your finger is your best smoothing tool. So now that I rolled that together, we'll check it over here too. Then I'm gonna take a drop of water and I'm gonna take my finger and now I'm gonna smooth that with my finger. And I want you to notice, I'm gonna show you from the top what it looks like as well to make sure that I don't pinch the top of the pot. Because if I pinch the top of the pot, then I won't be able to put another piece of clay on it. So it looks like I've smoothed this pretty well. There's a few bumps and some more smoothing that I need to do, but I want to show you one more just so we get in the routine of it. So here you can see I'm going to smooth this part, and this still around the top is staying about as wide as my finger. So let's do one more. I'm going to take this piece of clay, put water on both sides of it, push it together, and pack it together like a snowball. Take a drop of water, roll it up. Oh, it feels kind of dry. The clay kind of feels hard to me. If it's kind of hard, that means it needs a little more water. We'll roll this up. Yep, that feels like it's not as hard. And then I'm going to roll it gently in my hand. If I can roll it along my whole hand, then it will be easy to roll it on the table. So now that I can roll it on my hand, I'm gonna move the water cup. I'm gonna set out my popsicle stick so I know how long it needs to be. And I'm gonna roll it with my whole hand gently. Now, if it gets flat, tip it up so it's tall and kind of pat it back down so it's not flat anymore. Now it's more square-like. And then I just need to be more gentle as I roll it. So let's check. Sometimes students like roll it really fast and that's what makes it flat. That's why you can see I'm being really slowly and gently rolling it. So I'm gonna check, it's about the right size, and it's just a little longer than the popsicle stick. And it's always about as thick as my finger too. I'm gonna take this, I'll put the water back up here, and I would put water on the top of this. Always put your water to make your slip. Once that's on there, you can put this on top. If you were to put it more towards the inside, you could see the pot would be getting smaller. If I were to put it more on the outside, if it were long enough, then the pot would be getting bigger. Right now, I'm just gonna make mine just be getting taller as I go up here. And then it looks like this. I don't even need to trim any off. If it's too long, you can, well, I guess I could trim just a tiny bit of it off right here. And then I would do the exact same thing with the next piece. So I would hold this in my hand and I would just smooth it down with my finger. If you can't smooth it down with your finger, then just use your stick tool and just roll these two pieces together. Now, in consideration of time, I'm going to stop with this example. I would continue smoothing this all the way around, making sure that part where they join together is smooth too. And then the last part that I'm going to do is showing you for cleanup here. We're going to work on these again next time. So whatever you don't have done today is fine. I would like you to save that third piece of clay, and you could just gently put it inside. You'll have your name tag with it, and you'll bring your name tag and you'll bring your extra clay up, and then I'll give you some cleanup directions for getting our hands washed, and then next week we'll finish working on these. So let's have fun.